Would you stand and welcome the Honorable Phil Bredesen, Governor of the great state of Tennessee.
Well, Mayor, thank you for that introduction. When you were going on about at such length about the twilight of my career, I thought he might be about to break into Amazing Grace or something. Also, I did not know you had the right to have your childhood picture up here behind you while you were speaking, but I would have brought one if I had. Thank you all for being here. It is a great pleasure, seriously, to be here with Mayor Wharton and Mayor Luttrell, and obviously Congressman Cohen, who was here earlier, and Dr. Warren and a number of others. I did note that Senators Tate and Kelsey and Romero were up there, as well as Representatives Richardson and Hardaway. Everything we do is a joint effort between the governor's office and the legislature, and I thank each and every one of you for your service in that body. And last of all, this is special for me because I get to get up here and have my say, and Otis Sanford cannot push me into a corner and ask me questions as a part of the process. Especially, I want to thank all of the community partners who are here today. I know a lot of people in this room. My former Commissioner of Health, Ken Robinson, is sitting up here, and I remember some of you from 4 years ago, but I thank you all for being here today. I do remember standing here back in 2006. I think there were about 200 Memphians there. Many of you, as I say, were there at the time. And we came together to ask ourselves a painful question, which is quite simply, why are so many babies dying in Tennessee? You can put all the statistics and birth rate or death rates per thousand around it, but the fact of the matter is there were far too many individual babies dying in the state of Tennessee. That problem was particularly acute here in Memphis and a couple of other areas around the state, where babies were dying at twice the rate of the national average. And as has been indicated, there are zip codes here in which the infant mortality rate looks more like a third world country than it does a rich, successful nation like America is. Those statistics hurt. And I think a lot of us didn't feel that we had all the right answers, that didn't have a strategy. We wanted to know why it was happening. We wanted to know what we could do about it. And surely with all of us, we're all smart people. There's a lot of resources in this room. We ought to be able to pool those resources and talents together and try to figure this thing out. I went back over the remarks I made at the time before I came down here, and I said at that time that years down the road, I wanted to be able to look back and point to that day as the day that the tide began to turn. And now we're here again 4 years later, not to tell you that we solved the problem, because we haven't, but we're here to tell you that we're making some progress. And especially, I think you've heard from everyone, here to reaffirm our commitment to this issue, to reaffirm our commitment to staying the course. We're starting to move. We're starting to improve. Dr. Warren talked about the moving from 47th to 44th as a state. I especially appreciated the 47 fewer infant deaths in Tennessee in 2008 than when we began our efforts. In politics and government, often talk in these great generalizations and opinions and white papers and statistics and stuff. It's just really nice to know that there are 47 children living today, which, if we had not acted, might not be here. This is a tremendous achievement and a result of hard work and dedication of a lot of people in this room. Far too many babies still die in Memphis and across Tennessee before reaching their first birthday. It's no more acceptable today than it was 4 years ago. For those children who don't make it, we still need to push forward and to understand why. Now, we know that this is the result of a lot of factors. There's socioeconomic factors, there's environmental factors, there are a lot of health-related factors, there certainly are education factors involved in this. Over the last couple of years in particular, we've invested millions of dollars in evidence-based programs, trying to use our heads and figure out what really works here. and try different things out. These programs, like the Centering Pregnancy Program that we heard about a moment ago, Community Voice, the Fetal Infant Mortality Review, are programs that we know are working. And I always like to come bearing some kind of a gift, and so that's why I want to take this opportunity to announce to you that Shelby County has received a 3-year grant from the Governor's Office of Children's Care Coordination. It's about a $1.66 million grant that will provide continued funding for the Centering Pregnancy and Community Voice program. By investing in these dollars, by focusing on education and research and services to this population, we're building a foundation that'll stand the test of time, not only in improving our infant mortality rate, but the overall health and well-being of the children throughout their life. And this is certainly one of the keys of building a stronger Tennessee. I've often talked about, I see my role as governor as figure out those 2 or 3 things that if you get them right, the state can succeed. If you don't get them right, you can do 100 other things well, but you're not there. And I think it's pretty basic. I think if you educate our young people, I think if you have jobs for them to go to, and if you make sure that they're healthy, you get those 3 things right, and we can do a lot of other things wrong and make a lot of other mistakes, and we will still be very successful as a state. This really is the key to building a stronger Tennessee. I want to take, as I'm closing, and certainly as the mayor indicated, this is certainly my last time before this group, and maybe the last time he will introduce me. I'm not quite sure. And just step back 1 second, if you'll indulge me, and look at this issue in just a slightly broader, somewhat broader context of what's going on. A few of you in this room know that I've spent my evenings, weekends, and holidays during the winter and the spring writing a healthcare book. And I'm not here to promote that, but to say in the process of doing that, have done a lot of research on a number of issues, including a number of quality issues surrounding healthcare. And you can't begin to tackle this issue without tackling the subject of infant mortality in this country. And I'd just like to put this in a little larger perspective as to what we're going on. It's worth highlighting because the ability to bring babies safely into this world integrates a lot of different aspects of our society, of our healthcare system, of our support systems in our society. It's a good measure, as others have indicated, of some of the basic healths of our society. And it depends on a lot of things. Some of them, like poverty, are kind of beyond the reach of medical care, something we deal with in other ways. But many of them do relate to health care, to our health care system. Access to medical care, getting good advice, getting good quality care, having competent professionals, intervening with sophisticated technology when you need to, is all very much a part of the equation. One of the things that we all know about are these comparisons of infant mortality between the United States, between America and other countries. And you know we don't rank very well. This is no big secret. You know that we're not good here. But I want to talk just for a second about some of the trends, which in some ways to me are even more disturbing. We rank today 28th of 30th among the OECD countries. Those are the modern industrialized market economy countries of the world. 28th out of 30. In 1970, we were in the middle of the pack. There were 15 OECD countries that were worse than we were, and 14 were better than we were. Just by reference, I won't repeat them again, but by reference, the countries that were worse at infant mortality than we were Austria, Belgium, the Czech Republic, Germany, Greece, Hungary, Italy, Korea, Luxembourg, Mexico, Poland, Portugal, the Slovak Republic, Spain, and Turkey. By 1980, we'd fallen a few places, so there were only 11 worse than we were. By 1990, we'd fallen even further down the list, so that we're now ahead in 1990 of only 7. We were ahead in 1990 of the Czech Republic, Hungary, Mexico, Poland, Portugal, the Slovak Republic, and Turkey. By 2006, we were down to 2 OECD countries that were worse off than we were. They were Mexico and Turkey, and we should be thankful for Mexico and Turkey. They are far enough below us that it should be at least a decade before we're challenged by them. Now, when these statistics are pointed out, I think a common response and there's been a little of that in this room, is to try to explain them away and say, you know, I know that's the case, but America is a big, diverse society, a lot of diversity in our society. There are issues in America that don't exist in some of these other countries. We know we have some problems in our inner cities in 38108. We know we have problems on our Indian reservations, but it's unrealistic to compare us with a more homogeneous society. Well, they're not a legitimate test of what we do. So I said, fair enough, okay, and started looking further. The statistics on this, and for this are not available by income levels, they're not available by education levels, they are available racially. So all we do is take the numbers and let's pull out of them everyone who is African American, everyone who is an American Indian, everyone who is Asian, and everyone who is Hispanic. And what we're left with is white, non-Hispanic women in America. You think we'd be pretty good there, and if you do, we get a little better. We move up to 25th place. It means that instead of 2, there's only 5. We moved up 3 places. We've managed to pass Hungary, Poland, and the Slovak Republic to get into 25th place. Now think about that for a moment. Here's a fundamental measure of our success as a society, success of our healthcare system, the ability to assemble our knowledge and our technology to bring children safely into this world. Even if you give us the advantage of removing every ethnic group you think might in some way pull down these figures, we still rank right near the bottom of the pack. I say that to put this in the context of this is not just an issue in 38108 and in other areas. Obviously, you tackle the biggest problems first. But this is a society-wide issue. It's something we do not do well in this country. And my hope is that some of the things we might learn in these efforts in some of these areas in our state about how to improve this are things that can be moved and can be brought to bear much more broadly in our society. We clearly need to be able to do that. We can all help to raise healthy girls to become healthy women. We can help healthy women to have healthy babies by encouraging them to make good lifestyle choices, to get prenatal care. We can help new mothers and do all of these things. We can do all of this. It's important not just for some of the more marginalized parts of our society. It's important for our society as a whole. I do want to close by commending you. This will be my last time here for all the work you've done, to thank you for this continued work to save our children. I certainly want to thank the Governor's Office of Children's Care Coordination and its community partners, the community of Memphis, the rest of you across the state who are working to give every child in Tennessee a chance to reach his or her first birthday. Thank you, and stay the course. Thanks.